Oh, we're live.
And we're live.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
You got it out?
I got it out.
Happy 4th of July. Well, you haven't even told me happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
Isn't it weird to say that, though? It's not like it's a birthday or anniversary or even the birth of a child. It's happy 4th of July.
Well, I mean,
happy freedom.
Sort of an anniversary.
Well, it is the anniversary of our great country,
Yeah.
but yeah, and to say happy, it's just weird to me. Let's celebrate. I know the people around us have been celebrating all night long. Speaking of, if you haven't joined us before, apologize in advance, as I do every time that we're here. We didn't do last Sunday. We just try to join y'all once a week and have coffee, catch up with our friends and family. And we didn't do it last Sunday because we were gone. And then we had a very busy week. So we didn't, hang on, I've got technical difficulties. My computer's on my little antique Tradle sewing machine. And there we go. It's messing with me. But we were gone. I was gone. Gavin was gone. Timmy was home. Good morning, Tammy.
Good
How
morning,
are you,
Tammy.
sister? Tammy, she had...
Top of the morning.
Hang on. Stop. We're 2 of the 5 members of the Bradshaw family. We join our friends and family and y'all once a week, generally, to catch up on everything that we've been doing. We moved here to the mountains in East Tennessee, where we live off-grid, totally not connected to public utilities. Evidently, we're connected to the Wi-Fi from our urban homestead in the city just south of Myrtle Beach and Pawleys Island. There you go. That's it. That's my spiel. Do you know, I remember Morgan saying one time, she goes, I wish you were in real life like you are in your live. Do you think we're different in live than we are in real life?
No.
I pondered on that for a moment. I'm sitting here going, because we don't do a script. We have coffee. We talk. When we're done here with y'all, we get another cup of coffee and we just continue the same conversation. It's pretty much it.
And then go to work.
And then start working on our homestead or whatever we got to do.
Yeah.
I remember her saying that to me one time. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm good morning. And with her, when she used to live here, she doesn't live here anymore. That's our 20-year-old daughter. I would say, Morgan, good morning. And I'd wake her up with a song. Timmy would tickle her. And then she wouldn't get up. Then it was like, Morgan, it's time to get up. She wouldn't get up. So then finally, when even if you have kids, you understand. Then that time when it was like past time to get up, we're late now, it would be the, Morgan, get your butt out of bed. Yeah. So that's probably what she remembers, and she doesn't remember like the 10, 20 times before where we were actually pleasant and cheerful. And then after that, she got the mean mom because I woke her up out of bed the way she didn't like. And then I was in a rush and I was upset that we were late. You know how it is. That's life. Anyhow.
Yeah. I used to do the same thing. My daddy would come in and pull the sheets off of me and I'd be laying there trying,
Really? I don't see you as hard to get up.
Well, it was just times and,
Well, now there's times in the morning that you're not a cheerful morning person. You've changed a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but you're not a cheerful morning person. I'm a cheerful morning person till you tick me off.
What do you want?
Yeah. And normally I'm up like 2 to 3 hours before everybody else. So I've already thought about 10,000 things and I can't wait for a human to wake up so I can, And then to Timmy, when he'll just be opening his eyes in bed and I'm already going, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? You learned to do that a long time ago. Block me out. That has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about. But anyhow, so the last couple weeks, let's go into that before we start talking about what today's about. You don't remember the last couple of weeks, do you?
Oh.
You wake up.
Well, I don't remember. I don't.
Seriously, we thought that we were going to have our connection's unstable and then stable again.
Yeah.
Hey, if we go in and out, it's because we live off grid and our satellite stinks.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful that we have some satellite. So
Uh,
anyhow, so we thought we were going to have floods, and you stayed here to batten down the hatches, did you not?
oh, it rained.
Not that day.
Rained.
Last Sunday, honey. Stay with me.
The
Gavin and I woke up and left at the crack of dawn. What did you do?
I stayed here.
Didn't you have to move the hay?
I had to move the hay. Had to get the hay straight so it didn't get wet.
I'm sorry, y'all. Sorry, I'm sorry. So where there is hay issues all across the nation, and Tennessee is not exempt of that. Matter of fact, I've seen people talk about, normally they've already cut 100 bales right now. The big round ones, they're not like 28 or, just a fraction of that. We've been very fortunate. We had one friend of ours, our preacher friend that we talk about that we got the tin for. We work with a lot. We do bartering. He had some older hay that he didn't need, and it was still viable. So we got that at a discount. Then I had a friend whose name happens to be Amber, just like mine. Good name. Contacted me and said, hey, get it. Sorry. Hey.
Awesome. Hey.
That was so stupid. I'm sorry. See, this is what happens when I don't talk to y'all for 2 weeks. She's like, we got a hay baler at an auction, and my husband cut our fields, and we have all this hay. Do you know anybody? Do you or someone you know want it? I'm like, heck to the yeah. So we got it at a discount. It was super cool, and we don't have space for it. We don't have covering for it. We don't. Let me slap you around a little bit.
Yeah, give me a little.
That 8 hours not enough. And so we had to go pick up that. We got 30 bales, so which was nice because 30 bales last us a long time. Probably because we don't use it as much as we should, but it lasts us. But we have no place to store it. So Timmy was supposed to go to the rabbit processing class. I'm kind of glad that he didn't, because Timmy, tell me how you feel about the rabbits.
I love the rabbits.
He sings to them every morning.
Kill them, man. They're my buddies.
He's like, what do you say, the rabbit and monkey show?
The monkey rabbit show.
He sings to them every morning.
Welcome to the monkey rabbit show. And they all like, hey. They love me, man.
They do love him. And then I know, you separated all the boys.
I separated the boys.
So in order to make room for the hay, we have, if you've stayed with us any period of time, Timmy built this huge rabbit colony, and he separated the boys and the girls. We, at that time, did not know that you could not put the boys together. They castrate each other and mutilate each other. And our herd sire, I guess you still call it a sire, we thought his eye was missing. Another rabbit had, and one night they were all getting along good for like 2 days. That third night, total hell broke out. It was the one rabbit's ear was gone. Simba our lion head, he had scratches all over him. Now 5 of these males were brothers, litter mates, kind of. Some came from Snow and some came from Onyx, but they were all born together and they were all kept in the same cage. And then we had Sterling, who was our herd sire, Rex. And then we have Simba, who's going to be our herd sire, Lionhead. And we're like, oh, they have this huge room. We were so happy. They were the next day mutilated. I mean, so we had to hurry up and separate them, put them all back in cages again. And that's the part that broke our heart. We didn't want to see these rabbits in cages. But we didn't want them castrating each other either. If anybody was going to eat a rabbit, it was going to be us, not each other. So, long story short, that day that he had to he had to figure out something. So what'd you do?
Well, I mean, I made dividers inside the rabbit colony for each male. Well,
the brothers are together. Simba's by himself.
The litter mates are together. They're fine.
Right. And then Sterling's by himself.
Yeah.
But they have big areas, much bigger than a cage.
Yeah.
And they have dirt and hay, and they're not on wire. It's like being outside, but
Yeah,
protected.
they can dig.
They can dig a little bit. And so he did that, and that worked out. And I'm glad let's talk about the rabbit testing class. Was very informative. Unfortunately, I was burnt out. We haven't even talked about the microgreen class. We'll talk about that in a minute. I was very burnt out from the day before because I can't do a lot of public speaking anymore. And I can't people like that for that many hours. It was exhaustive. So the class lasted like 4.5, almost 5 hours. Gavin and I were there. Very nice young couple. They have made a name for themselves quite quickly. I think they've only been doing this for 5 years, maybe less. And he moved into the area. So she's from Michigan. He's from Missouri, which is cool because we had a lot to talk about Michigan and everything. And they are, again, a young couple just trying to live sustainably. And they gave us a tour of all the different ways they raise rabbits. And they did the colony raising, they did the cage raising, and they did the rabbit tractor, kind of like a chicken tractor, where you take the rabbit tractor all around your property. The one thing that, are you seeing a little rabbit on a tractor now, Timmy? Is it a John Deere or is it a Massey Ferguson?
I don't know. It's just an old rusty tractor.
And then he had us watch the movie. What was it? Hot 2 or something like that? What was it we went and saw? The movie. Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit 2. So I could totally see a rabbit driving a tractor. And it was neat to see everything that they had going on. They had a lot going on. And much like us or everybody else that has a lot going on, you always have these started ideas that were conceptual that you try to put into practice that just haven't completely panned out yet, but will once you have the time and resources. And and again, there's only 2 of them, just like there's just enjoyed it though, because it sounded like us giving a tour of our place, oh, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do this and this we started, but we haven't finished. And when we get this, anyhow, then they skipped all of the formalities. Or we tried some different rabbit dishes, and they said we had to eat first thing in the morning, which is at 9 o'clock, because most people get squeamish and won't eat after the class, which would have been his case. So we jumped right in it. They had a rabbit tractor there with enough rabbits, for everybody to harvest their own. And they did a very humane way of dispatching the rabbits, which I appreciated because I've seen some different techniques. This technique has a name for it, and I can't remember. I got to check my notes. But they used a piece of rebar. Some people use a stick or a broom, but they took a piece of rebar and they put it on the ground. They put their foot on one end. They lifted it up just enough to put the rabbit's head under it. They hurried up and stepped on the other end. I stepped on your toe, I'm sorry. Trapping the rabbit's neck, which the neck part is very easy to break. Grab the legs and just pulled up. It lasted less than 2 seconds. And as soon as you hear that pop, that's it. The rabbit completely feels nothing. Its neck is separated from its spine, and the rest went fairly easy. It didn't bleed out as much as I thought it would. The pelts peeled off fairly easily in one piece. And it was neat to see the mix of people there. There was a man there he looked a little like Scott Terry. If any of y'all are watching that, know Scott Terry, that's an admin in my groups. He looked like Crowder. If y'all ever heard the Christian singer Crowder, if not, YouTube him. He's got some great videos out. And he has a lot of great songs, and he's very popular in the Christian music industry. But he looked like him, real skinny, long beard, cap on, didn't really see his eyes, didn't speak a word until the end. It took him like 3.5 hours, 4 hours to warm up to us. That last 30 minutes, I couldn't shut him up. It was funny. Then there was another guy there. He just got turned on to this. He seemed very much like a patriot, He seemed like a prepper. He showed up with his knives and stuff on his hips. And then there was his neighbor. His neighbor was completely not anybody that you would expect to see at a rabbit processing class. He looked like he was Hispanic. He had pink hair and it was shaved on the sides, gauge earrings, very flamboyant. And I loved him. We got along great. And but anyhow, I never thought that he would be the type to show up to a rabbit processing class. So you just never know. You can't judge a book by its cover. You just never know who is interested in this lifestyle. But his mom raises she's like the world champion or state champion for this one breed. And they dispatch any ones that aren't perfect because they raise show national championship quality. And I guess he's tired of seeing the waste. So he wanted to go so they knew how to process them instead of just wasting them and culling them, to turn them into a food resource, which I think is very respectful. I really commended him for that. It was a great thing. But anyhow, so we did that, and then we each took our turns processing the rabbits, and then we brought them home, and they vacuum sealed them, and we brought them home and put them in the freezer. And I thought that information was invaluable, and that's one of the things that I really do appreciate having the ability to participate in. Part of our freedom that we have to do. I don't know if it was legal. I don't care. I was happy to be a part of it, and I was happy that they shared that information without thinking, oh, I need liability insurance. What if somebody cuts themselves? They didn't do any of those disclaimers. What if it's PETA? What if, they didn't do any of that. So it was nice. All right, your turn.
I'm good, man. I love my rabbits.
One good thing about raising rabbits is they breed every 30, 31 days. They can have litters, kits from just a couple, up to 8, 9, 10 or more, right? They only have, I want to say 8 ninnies though, if I'm not mistaken. So if they have 12 babies, you have to either have another doe and milk, or you're going to lose some, or you got to figure out how to hand feed a rabbit that big, which I don't know if that's even possible.
Well, I think if they have that many, that they aren't all going to be nursing.
No, that's what we talked about.
Be rotation.
That's what we talked about.
They would hope that everybody would get. So.
They said, that mothers will nurse other babies. So if you have 2 that are nursing at the same time, you can take the extras from one and put them on the other.
Mix them up.
So anyhow, but it makes it a very sustainable resource of protein, because rabbits, you can feed them your forage, you can do grass clippings, you can, there's a lot of things that you can feed them to help supplement their diet that they won't cost a lot to feed. Of course, in the winter, it might be a little different, but you could clearly cut your lawn that doesn't have any chemicals or anything on it, save those grass clippings, and feed them to your rabbits. That's what they eat in the wild.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and not only that, but people that live in smaller dwellings, apartments, they can raise rabbits. If you got a garage, if you got a basement, if you got extra room, if you got a corner in your living room, you don't mind the smell, you can raise rabbits. So that's one bonus to raising rabbits as a protein source. You can raise them as a source of income. You can sell their manure if it's legal in your area. It's not legal here. Haven't figured out a way around that yet. You can sell them as pets. You can sell them as a breeding pair. If it's legal in your state, you can sell the meat. It's not legal in my state. It is legal to sell them as raw pet food, like raw dog food, but you have to get licensed. I'm trying to figure out how to do that so we can do it. Well,
there you go.
I should have looked that up before we started breeding rabbits.
All right, what else we got?
The
pool's up and running.
The pool is up and running and clear. It's beautiful. So now I got to work my behind off and writing the how-tos to share it with y'all. It's fantastic.
We've been enjoying it.
It's fantastic, especially on the days that it's 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's
and you don't have any problem running the pump.
No, we can't run it late.
When the sun
after
passes.
The sun rolls over,
Show the people what kind of pump you got.
Well, it's
not technical, just
It's a saltwater system
with a sand filter.
with a sand filter, and it turns salt into chlorine, and
You never have to add
pretty
any
much,
chemicals to it.
I mean, it's amazing that the upkeep that has been cut out. I mean, you still have to vacuum it, you still have to run it, but you're not sitting there repeatedly trying to add chemicals and
wait, make sure that they're not too strong for your family and all that stuff.
Safe,
so.
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we can run the pump on the solar. So we were a little concerned about how much energy it would take. And unless it's cloudier out or something, it has worked perfectly. So that's very inspiring. Not only that, during that time of the day where the sun's full swing, normally we have fans running in the house. We have the pump on. Timmy's using some type of electricity, and we're still charging our batteries. So all of that is wonderful. So evidently there's a lot of electricity during the full sun or during the prime time of the day that we're not using that we could be using for bigger items.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in Linden's, she's in it every day, and it's just such a blessing that we've been able to do that.
Yeah.
Timmy's talent.
It's a nice relief. I mean, the water is still
a little chilly.
A little chilly. So when you've got those hot days.
And if you guys don't know, if anybody's listening, last year during COVID, we could not find a pool anywhere in the United States. Pool manufacturers were out. I shouldn't say manufacturers, distributors were out. They had waiting lists. They were looking everywhere. However,
prices.
And the prices. If you could find one, a $1,000 pool would cost you $10,000, and that's not an exaggeration. So, anyways, Timmy and I were like throwing around our head, can we build one? Could we do this? Timmy's like, sure. And so Timmy spent much of the summer building us our own pool, milling the lumber, installing it. We have a lot of things that we've learned that we shouldn't have done, that we should have done differently. And those are troubleshooting tips I'll be able to share with y'all. And someone asked me the other day, how did we fill it? Did we hire someone to come and fill it? The answer is no. We can't hire nobody.
We asked God to fill it.
So we have to use rainwater, and we diverted our rainwater from the rain barrels with one of those flexible downspouts. And Timmy rigged up the spout with rope and everything and took it from our gutter system to the pool. Unfortunately, we were kind of in a drought. And when we finished the pool, it was during the least amount of rain season month. So we didn't get it full until right before fall. But we got it full.
Yeah, I mean, we were still able to enjoy it. And
then we couldn't find a filter. And our friend Linda had to send a filter from California.
Man, it's been a
struggle.
Blessing, though. A pool,
our whole lives together.
Ever since the kids were
little,
this tall. So, it's not anything that we've been trying to do and figure out because we've done it for so long. So
we just haven't done it. We haven't built our own pool, and we haven't done it off grid. So that was a new concept for us, and we never had to collect rainwater to fill it. We always used the water.
See how bad the water can get, how quick it can, and how that the system works. And
it was black.
The process in cleaning it up.
Gross.
So you can pretty much
mosquitoes
take
flying around everywhere,
dark water and get
worms.
It clean. I mean, it's amazing. Because it was bad
for the winter and the fall and everything with all the leaves we've got around here.
Yeah.
And I think we've had a squirrel in it. Timmy had to dig out and bury, and it's been pretty incredible. But that has been one of the things that he's worked on for the past week on and off. And so we're very happy and fortunate to have that done. A little moving forward, what we got going. If you don't know, I taught a microgreen class last Saturday. I was very, it was different. I have a minimum requirement whenever I do workshops because that helps cover my cost of just teaching the class. I have to buy supplies. I have to buy materials. It doesn't cover my time or anything else. And it was understood about this. And I heard from the owner of the shop that there was going to be 25 people there. At first, it was just 10. And I'm like, holy crud, I don't have stuff for 25 people. So I planted 25 microgreen mini gardens. I made enough food for 25 people for everybody to snack on the different samplings of all the microgreens. I made 25 packets where like step-by-step instructions, recipes, resource list, printed them out, the whole nine. And it was a very laborious and exhaustive process. And we showed up to teach the class at $15 a piece. They didn't even cover the groceries that we bought to make the food for it. It was a very bittersweet experience. It was sweet because the people that were there, you enjoyed the class.
Yeah, I did. Amber was very informative and, distributing the information. And I think everyone went home with, knowledge of being able to, do this because, she started, with the first steps and how to, progress through. So,
and someone asked if we could do it for a video. I might venture down there. I can't do a video where we upload it because we don't have that ability with the internet, unfortunately, but maybe we could do a live and do the same thing if anybody's interested, a microgreen class. Yeah, so it was very discouraging because I had these trays and trays of microgreens that I grew just for that. And microgreens are very delicate. You have a very small window, they're microgreen. And after that, they're a baby green, then they're a plant. But when you plant 1,000 of them in a small space, you can't just go, oh, well, you can just plant those later. It doesn't work like that. So it was a lot of waste. And it was very, the time, regardless if you're teaching 25 or 3, did not change. So it's still an all-day process. And, well, a couple days because I had to prepare. But anyhow, that experience led me to the decision yesterday or the day before, I think, was that I just need a break for a moment to regroup, restructure. We have our homeschooling group, our homeschooling lessons getting ready to kick off, and I've got to work on that. Tammy, who's my partner with it, has just spent countless hours prepping for it, and that we need to kick that off soon. So I paused our farmers market for 2 weeks. No, 1 month. Sorry. No. Yeah, 1 month. I sell all of our stuff at an online farmers market. And sometimes you just need to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. You don't know if something's going to work or not until you try it, right? Because you don't know. What works for somebody else might not work for you. So we're in a very changing situation. Do we need the money? Heck yeah. Do I need my peace of mind more? Yep. Yeah. And so, and then too, what else? You built me. Because so we have how we make our money. I write our blog. We teach workshops. We sell our livestock. We sell at the farmer's market. And then our products are in 2 stores. Our products are that we make. We make our own smoked salt, herbal teas, lotions, creams, soaps, the whole 9. Honey sticks. And we do all those here, and we sell them at a local store in Newport and one in Cosby. The one in Cosby is not, it is cost prohibitive. It's not doing well. So we're not probably going to make the decision to pull our products out of there and try to find a store that they'll move quicker. The one in Newport is expanding. And so we're going to be expanding our display and hopefully increase the sales that way. And that's how we make some of our money. Mm-hmm. Well, with the expansion, Timmy built me. Go ahead. This is you, baby.
Well, it's just an old rustic display
stand. It's beautiful. It looks just like the one I had in Polly's.
So I think it's gonna be attractive and be.
It goes with our niche. Yeah. It goes with our theme.
Wanna try our products.
And this week too. So my grandparents both passed. My grandfather just about 2 months ago, my grandmother 2 years ago, that lived in Michigan where I was raised. And they were my only pretty much kind of living relatives other than my dad, my brother, and my mother on my side. And anyhow, my grandfather passed and my dad was the only heir. So he inherited everything in a house full of beautiful antiques. I mean, my grandparents were very much into antiques. They were going to open up an antique store. And so my dad filled a pod, 8 by 8 by 7, full of my grandparents' antiques and shipped that pod to us. So Gavin, Timmy, and I and Lyndon went to Knoxville because they wouldn't ship it to where we live. We're too far remote. And we went and got these antiques. And Brent, give that. Can you get that right there? That wooden one? That's real quick. And put them in our house. We've had a lot of issues because we have no storage here. We have no closets. We have no garage. We have no cupboards, and getting and moving around. But some of these antiques are so fun because a lot of them we'll put into use with our off-grid life, like the irons and the granite ware and everything.
This thing really scares me.
So this is one of the antiques that we got. Hold it up because I'm going to lift the top up. You got it?
Yeah.
It's very, very heavy, and we'll see if you guys know what it is. Can you turn it just a little bit? Like this, forward?
Here we go.
Do you see it? Those are very sharp. Do you guys know what it is? So I used to play with this when I was a kid. I would put my dolls on it, pretend like I was Morticia from the Addams Family, laying on that nail bed. Any guesses? Because I'll be using that too, and not against Timmy. It is to pull wool for spinning. And I got her antique spinning wheel that is just amazing. And it's been a very emotional week, ups, highs and lows, about going through this stuff.
A lot of beautiful antiques. Just
yeah, some draw knives.
A lot of stuff that I think once the house
is finished,
finished, we're gonna
we have closets.
A regular antique looking.
Well, it fits our house perfectly. My grandmother would be so tickled. She wouldn't be happy that I'm actually touching the stuff because everything in her house was display only. But I think she would be tickled that we're using it and seeing it not just sold or at auction or thrown at the dump. So that'll be so useful. Yeah, Timmy, isn't it? She said meat tenderizer. That's what you would think. Timmy thought it was some type of torture device. No, my grandma, she probably could have used it as a torture device. She was a Spitfire, just like me. But more so. I only got half of it. She was full-blown Spitfire. So that was fun getting all of that stuff. Like I said, it was bittersweet going through those memories. She sent me coloring books that I had my dad sent coloring books that I had when I was a child, and I'm 50. Some notes that she used to write about me that shed a little light on my personality, even at 6 and 7 years old. That was interesting to read.
Yeah, I thought they were cute.
I had a colorful vocabulary at a young age, and it just grew with me. But anyways, it was fun. So, we're already at 30 minutes, and I know we both need coffee, but what is talking about freedom, and everything that we've gone through about the holiday, what we're celebrating. I wrote an email and I sent it out. And if you're not a member of my email list, please go visit www.myhomesteadlife.com and sign up for the email. I try to send them out at least once a week. I'm not very good at it. I do maybe once a week, maybe once a month, sometimes never more than once a week, really, rarely, unless I have something that I need to talk about. But anyhow, I was talking about how we never realized how important freedom was until we moved out of the city and how much we were controlled living in an HOA and the city. And then here now, how much we treasure our freedom and more importantly, our privacy. And, or I should say how much we treasure our privacy and more importantly, our freedom. And never have I felt our freedom infringed upon as much as I have this past year. Our church was closed. Our daughter's school was closed. My work was closed, all because of fear from this man-made released virus with political intentions to control us and remove our freedoms and make us do what they want us to do. And it's very disturbing, to say the least. And it brings up a lot of emotions. A friend of ours, Kathy, who manages Paula Dean's restaurant, she says, I've been in this industry for 36 years. I've never seen so many mad, angry, and hateful people. And I said, well, they've bottled us up and put us all on this ticking, we're all ticking time bombs. We all have these major emotions from the past year and a half. And we're just like one step away from going off. And it makes me mad that they've done this intentionally. And it also makes me realize that, you know, we're free because our forefathers fought for it. It wasn't a once and done thing. It's something we need to continually strive for, fight for, stand up for, protect. And I think us as humans, this generation, we've gotten lazy and complacent. And it's easy for us to let go of those freedoms if it infringes on our personal time. We don't want to deal with it. We're like, don't bother me. Let them.
Well, I think we've been somewhat misled and tricked into believing that, you know, there are people in the higher power that have our best interests. And,
And that's
you
true.
know, and there's a lot of people out there that really, truly,
They're outnumbered,
they
though.
believe that. And those, you know, I think those are the ones that, you know, have the problem with other people when, you know, they don't comply.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, that creates animosity, and, you know, and it just, you know, you stand together. I mean, if you can't stand together, I mean,
well, so what the problem is, I think too, is they want their freedom, but they don't want your freedom. For instance, I want to be able to be free to fly my whatever flag, but I don't want you to fly your Christian flag or American flag.
Yeah.
So that's where you run into a huge problem. Matter of fact, I had this discussion with my mother not too long ago. She was making a comment about a neighbor's XYZ. You know, it was for a client of hers back in South Carolina. And I said, but don't you want to be able to do this, this, and this on your property? And she, well, yeah. And I said, well, then you can't care what your neighbor does on their property. And that's, we had to get in that mindset here because a lot of people here in this county throw their trash outside. All of it. Just right outside. We've never seen so much litter ever. And especially in this beautiful, gorgeous, awe-inspiring area that we live. People throw garbage bags, their furniture on the side of the road, everywhere. And I mean, I've seen homes where the garbage is so piled up they can barely open their door. And we literally have like 3 recycling places all within just this little area. Like there's that one in Cosby, there's one down here, and there's one down the road. Not any of them more than a 10-minute drive. And on the road to the recycling center is the worst offender. You see bukus and bukus of trash and furniture and everything else. And that offended me a lot at first. I'm like, well, somebody needs to do something about this. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. We need to call blah, blah, blah. And the longer that we've been here, the more I'm like, that's their right. That's their land. Now, if you're doing it on public property, that's a whole different thing. But if you're doing it on your own and it's not near a waterway that's going to poison it, or it's going to poison my water, you know, then we have a problem. But if it's your land and it's not on my property, it's not my business.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really respect living here is people don't want anyone on their land.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that they know in their mind that they aren't going on anyone's land. So, you know, every now and then there will be some type of encounter, and it's usually
hunting season.
You know, something that's, you know, it doesn't normally happen. But
they out here, they have a huge respect for privacy.
Yeah.
They'll be friendly, they'll help you if you need it, they'll be neighborly, but
don't show up on somebody else's land here.
They respect your privacy and
Yeah.
don't care what they're doing. I see so many locals going, is there a law against this and that? And everyone's like, mind your own business. The locals they're very vocal
Yeah.
about it. And I kind of like that. Mind your own business,
Yeah.
you know? And that's was in my newsletter too. It's like, I'm happy to share our faith. I'm happy to share about off-grid living. If you want to know about it, we'll talk about it all day. But I'm not going to impose my thoughts, my feelings, our way of doing things on you if you don't want to hear about it. I'll pray
Yeah.
for you in silence, but it's not my business, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where we want everybody to be the same. Everybody to stand in line, march to the beat of the same drum. And we're taking away, we want to take away your freedom. We want to take away your will. We want to take away your individuality. I mean, they want to make everything all inclusive. My God, they're getting rid of sexes. They're getting rid of male and female. How can you get rid of science? I mean, how can you get rid of something that God gave you? They
Yeah.
just they're calling they wanted to get rid of the term mother and call them birthing people.
If I wanted to, I could be the bearded lady now. I mean,
Yes,
whatever I
you can
choose.
identify as that, and it's crazy. You know that they're imposing it on everybody. If you're that messed up in the head and you want to feel that way and think that way, that's fine. You might need help, but that's your choice. Don't impose your choice on me. Don't take away my rights, my freedom, my individuality.
Yeah.
Because God tells me who I am, not all this other messed up stuff. But anyhow, so this.
Well, you've got the people who are born and raised, and they know what's right, and they know all the genders, you know, male and female. Yeah, the male and the female, and now they're trying to
I don't know what's going
reprogram
on
themselves to believe in. Oh yeah, well, there's all kinds.
Because they don't want to offend nobody or what have you. You
they
know,
they want to go with the flow. Whatever you think, I'll go with that.
We will, because people don't like to ruffle feathers.
Yeah.
You know, we're all worried about offending people. We need to quit worrying about offending people and start worrying about offending God. This way that we're acting right now, it's going to cause him to come quicker than he planned.
Yeah.
Seriously. That's what I believe.
God's going to bring down the thunder, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a loving God, but he's also a just God, and he will punish us because we deserve it. I mean, look what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when we're talking about freedom, I'll fight tooth and nail to protect what I have. You know, protect my family, protect our ability to do what we can do. I'm not one to sit by the sides and let them take it away. You know, when I fought the county back in South Carolina about our right to raise livestock, I was fighting completely by myself. I was standing there in front of the panel by myself because too many people that raise livestock in the same situation we were scared to show up because they didn't want to lose what they had. And I said, if you don't stand with me when they come knocking on your door, because they will, there's not going to be no one left to stand with you. And it happened. And here I am in Tennessee. So
I think the only thing we need to be concerned about now is the time is running out, and
we need to get as many
the time
as
is upon us, and God is ready to cleanse the earth and start over. Life is going to go on. There's going to be a whole nother world, and you know there are going to be more people to come in the future, but he's going to get rid of a lot, and he's going to start over.
I would have a long time ago. Well, and that's the thing too, and we'll get into that later because we're over 44 minutes now. I would love to talk about that later because that's one of the things, you know, that's why we're still here right now. That's why he hasn't come back. And we're talking about Jesus coming back because we still have work to do. People, and us included, it's all me, me, me. We are commercialized. They have divided us because it used to be community living. I think we're trying to get back to that now, but we're so selfish. It's not working for a lot of people because it's all me, me, me. Everybody wants to be in charge. You know, well, why is he chopping wood and I've got to do this? You know, I mean, it's too much of a self-centered, self-serving attitude is what we have. And we're very commercialized. We keep thinking that stuff is going to make us happy. So we get jobs that will get us that stuff. Our purpose on this planet is to bring as many people to God and do his work as possible. That's it. Not what we want, it's what he wants. We have a job to do. And when we're done doing whatever we need to do, it's our time to go. And so that's why I think that's so important that the way the world is right now, we don't need to be out there getting in the middle of it. We need to be out there trying to save as many people as we can and showing them that there is hope, showing them that there is a better way, because time is running out. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we live this way, to remove ourselves from that commercialism, that hustle and bustle, and be able to share with others, to be self-sufficient so we're not codependent on the system. That's a lot to get in 45 minutes. Can you believe we've been having coffee that long?
Yeah, my coffee's cold.
Mine is too. I'm so sorry, y'all. But hey, we hadn't talked in 2 weeks. So if you split this up into 2 weeks, you're only having coffee with us for 23 minutes.
All right. That's all I got to say.
You guys have a blessed day. We're going to stay here today because our dogs went crazy with the fireworks. We're not going to go do anything wild, even though I'd love to. Maybe we'll shoot a gun or something. No, Sadie hates that too. We're just going to stay here on the homestead. And then our freedom and our ability to do what we are doing. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you for putting up with us.